Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is another paid request from Movie Guide 2005. Thank you so much for that. For those interested requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. For those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. And this is for... He wanted my thoughts on the top 5 best and worst films of 1992. I figured I would do them in the same video since it's only 5 of each. And it's cool to have lists like this. Sometimes if it's a bad movie, I don't have much to say because I don't remember them because I tend to forget the bad movies. And usually, not all the time, but usually I have reviews of them. You'd always look back on the review to hear more of my thoughts. But let's stop. No, we can't stop now. We're only a minute. Let's start with my favorites. Now, this is personally my top 5 favorites of 1992. Which, I mean, it was tough because there's a lot of good films this year. Toys with Robin Williams. I really enjoy that film. It's one of my favorite films from Robin. I love how imaginative and creative it is. Excessive Force, why can't we have a Blu-ray of that in the US? Apparently there's a Blu-ray overseas. I have to see if I can find one on eBay. That's the thing though, I'm kind of wishing that they would get a Blu-ray here in the US, because I think that's an underrated film. I always like it. That was a film I saw for the first time a year or two ago, but I was pleasantly surprised. Excessive Force was a lot of fun. Watch We're Too Lost in Time is a childhood favorite. That's a really creative... Yeah, that's a fun movie with a lot of ideas, a lot of references, especially to films like Dawn of the Dead, Alien. Like, there's a lot of cool references in that. 50-50, underrated film with Peter Weller, Robert Hayes. Why can't we get a Blu-ray of that? I know it's about who owns the rights, but still. That was a Canon film production. Great rapport between the two. Some really solid action sequences. I know Peter Weller is proud of the film because he did one of those Ask Me Anything on Reddit, and I asked him about this. He's like, apparently he was going through a tough time, and that really helped him out, and he loved working with Robert Hayes, and he said he was proud of that movie, so I thought that was really cool. Live Wire, I think that's one of maybe Pierce Brosnan's most underrated film. It's a fun premise. What if there was a bomb, but the bomb was in the form of a liquid? So say you drink it. It goes with your stomach acids and you become a live wire, a walking bomb. And there are times where people are shaking, their eyes are bleeding, and they're convulsing. And they gotta get the hell out of the way, and they blow up. How'd that happen? Well, I don't know, I guess I missed when she swallowed a grenade. Even at the end, there's a bit where he's doing these traps like Home Alone, like these booby traps to kill the bad guys. Like Livewire, that's a film that also doesn't have a Blu-ray that deserves it. That's what I mean. People talk about, oh, well, there's so many films that still don't even have a Blu-ray that could do with better picture quality. 50-50 and Livewire and some of these others. But number 5, I put White Man Can't Jump. I enjoy the film. I think it's very funny comedy. I think Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson have wonderful chemistry with each other. I like the rapport. I love basketball. I don't play basketball. I don't get to watch basketball much anymore, but I loved watching it. The snippets I could watch it, but in movies, I just love the style of the game, the pacing of the game, the action-driven part of the game. And I think Wesley and Woody handled the basketball skills. They're good. They were good on the court. And then the verbal back and forth and the trash talking. I thought the trash talking was hilarious in this movie. especially at the beginning of the film. But even then, where Woody Harrelson is talking shit. What's that Z on your fro? What are you, the Black Zorro? And you tell Aunt B when my paws around, I'm gonna kick your ass. I just like the trash talk, and I thought that was a lot of fun. Just great rapport between the two, as well as some really fun, fast-paced basketball action. Good soundtrack. Always enjoyed White Man Can't Jump. Saw that quite a few times on VHS tape. And I remember the VHS tape had commercials for other basketball VHS tapes, like some for Michael Jordan, one for Larry Bird, one for like bloopers. I think one was like maybe the Dream Team VHS. Try to think there's others. There was one that was like basketball highlights, but also music videos put into it. I forget what it was called. But that's how often I watched that VHS tape. I remember that stuff. But number 4, I put Rapid Fire. I go back and forth between this and Showdown Little Tokyo's what's my favorite Brandon Lee movie. Sometimes I see this because Brandon Lee is the focus, he's the star, and it's all on his shoulders, so he has more to do. I would say maybe as a film overall, I like Showdown in Little Tokyo more, but I do quite like this film as well. It's my favorite film he starred solo. And I like The Crow, but there's a lot, there's other, I don't want to get into it with that, but Rapid Fire, the story may not be the most original, but Brandon Lee showed that he had the star power, he had the charisma, he could be the star of a film and be believable, and the fight scenes, the action scenes were fantastic. He knew how to move. He knew how to do his kicks and punches. There's great bits like when he does the flip and the shotgun, or he does the stitch and he's beat the shit out of the people in this whole like office space while the bad guys are trying to shoot the cops. It was great to see Powers Booth in there. Good character actor, may he rest in peace. And I forget her name. She was in Leatherface, Chainsaw Massacre 3, Sally the Hidden 2. I forget her name, because I'm bad with names, but I liked her in it. Rapid Fire is a fun action film. It's a fun action film that Sally, one of the only times we'll get to see Brandon really showcase himself as a star. It's a damn shame. A hell lot better than Laser Mission. But number 3, Hard Boiled. I love Hard Boiled. I know you're wondering, why is it number 1? Well, again, there's a reason why the other 2 are above it, but Hard Boiled is perhaps my favorite Hong Kong action film. It's one of my favorite John Woo films. And the action is insane. Like, if you're asking me which has the best action scenes of the year, Hard Boiled, easily. Whether Chow Yun-fat going down with the 2 pistols, whether it be the dodge in the slow motion, the whole place with the Chow Yun-fat getting the shotgun and blowing up the guy that's on the motorcycle, or going through the other guy going through the car, and there's all these bullet hits going around them, and just the action scenes are absolutely insane. The last 40 minutes in the hospital, so much destruction and chaos and blood squibs, and the one shot where the 2 guys going down the hallway and taking turns shooting the bad guys. One's got a shotgun, one's got pistols. Chow Yun-fat's character with the baby and going out the window and sliding down and real explosions. I mean, it's insane. Like, sadly, they don't do movies like that anymore because they deem it too much of a safety hazard, or the way they do in Hollywood, it'd be too expensive. because they do it differently in Hollywood than they do in Hong Kong. And even John Woo can't do a film like that nowadays. I liked Silent Night, but it was not to this level. I hated his remake of The Killer. Such an insult to the original film. But Hard Boiled, I mean, it's not really issue. I would say that, the story was there. I like Chow Yun-fat. When the action wasn't happening, it's okay. The story is kind of there and kind of waiting for the next action scene to happen. But there's so much of it, and Chow Yun-fat's such a badass in it that it was fine. It didn't bother me a whole lot. But the other two, they're much more nostalgic, because Hard Boiled I didn't see till much later. I probably saw it in my 20s on cable. These first two I've seen ever since I was a kid, so nostalgia does play a part in it, but number 2 I put Split Second. I love Split Second. I love the stuff with Rutger Hauer. I love his character. May he rest in peace. I love that he's addicted to chocolate and coffee. I love how eccentric and crazed he is. Because he has these scars and he can feel the killer and hear its heartbeat. It's just this crazed performance and energetic, and he's a maniac, but he's a good guy. I liked the stuff between him and Dick Durkin. I liked the Alistair Duncan. I like him. I like their back and forth. I love that as the movie goes on, the partner becomes more and more like the lead, where he too becomes crazed and we need big fucking guns. So I like the transition where you see how he becomes his partner. And how they really become so similar to each other. I like that. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really an interesting transition. He started to sound like you. I love the look of the villain, because it's as if you did Venom practically. Venom from Spider-Man, if you did him practically. I love the look. And sort of like the visor type of thing, and the sharp teeth, and the long claws. And you see snippets of it. Because the whole idea is that he's fast. Now, would I like to have seen more action? Sure. But I love the look of London that's been like all this water. So there's places that just water everywhere, either puddles or ankle deep, and just gave a nice sci-fi setting to London. Like this wet, depressive nature. I like Kim Cattrall. She still has that haircut from Star Trek 6, because I think she was filming that around this time. So he's still got that Star Trek 6 haircut. But I like Kim Cattrall. I love the music. I think the music is very fitting for the film. I think some of the comedy is very funny. We had lunch with him. I don't think this thing thinks it's Satan. I think it is Satan. Well, then Satan is a deep shit. I know, like, the original director got fired or something, and they put in another guy. I think it's mainly the third act. Did you tell, like, the third act, there's definitely much more of, like, an action-driven narrative? Explosions, shooting the shit out of the train and all that. How bad is it? I mean, and also, how many movies is it where your hero, there's the monster, he punches and pulls the heart out like it's Mortal Kombat to a monster and shoots the fucking heart? Like, how badass is that? Sweet dreams. And how many movies can you think of where your hero rips a monster's heart out and blows the shit out of it with a gun? You know, sometimes movies just need to be, it's as simple as that sometimes. It makes me want to watch Split Second already again. Not already, because it's been a while since I've seen it. I think I actually have it over there. But yeah, it makes me want to rewatch it again. But I love Split Second. Yes, I wish there was a bit more action. And also, like, the killer, who or what it is, no matter how many times I see it, hear it explained, I still get confused as what the fuck it is. Was it a person that became a demon? Was it a demon that also wanted to be a serial killer? Was it, like, a person that wanted to be a demon but became, like, a devil? I'm still always... I always get... I don't know why... Because I know they try to explain, but I always get confused as to what the fuck it is. But it looks cool, so... But I don't know why. Each time they explain it, it always goes over my head. I know that's dumb, but it is what it is. But I love Split Second. And number one, I have to put Universal Soldier. And I don't know, maybe I'll, you know what? I'm going to split these into two videos, fuck it. Because I realize it's 16 minutes. I'll just split into two videos. So this will be my top 5 favorite of 1992. So, yeah. If you're wondering, wait a minute, the title. Well, that's why. I'm changing it now. I'll do a second video of the worst ones. Why not? I'll separate it. But yeah, Universal Soldier is my number one favorite of 1992. Because as a kid... Some people may not realize, a kid like me, that was a big deal. Jean-Claude Van Damme versus Dolph Lundgren, like the Battle of the Titans, because being a fan of action films, it's like, oh, the guy from Bloodsport and Kickboxer and Lionheart is going to be fighting against Ivan Drago, the Punisher, Shonen Lo Tokyo, I Come in Peace, which I love. Alright, these two, alright, this is a good hero, good villain. Two guys that were part of my childhood of films, growing up, and yeah, I mean, granted, I was only 9 years old, but still, even at 9 years old, I was excited, like, alright, I didn't see this in the theater, I saw it on home video, so probably on home video like 93. It came out in 92, but home video was probably 93, so I was probably like 10 years old when I finally saw it, but I'm like, yeah! And it was just the Battle of the Titans. I love the premise of the Vietnam soldiers, them shooting each other. I love Dolph Lundgren's character, how he's so nuts, he makes a necklace of ears. Can you hear me? I think that's one of his best performances. And I, Sergeant Andrew Scott of the U.S. Army, I'm going to show them all. I kick ass, you ass. I'm busting heads. Van Damme, I thought the way his acting worked as a guy who's supposed to be emotionless. And the idea is that throughout the film he regains a little bit of his humanity and regains a little bit of who he is by the end. I like that arc. I like the lady who plays the reporter. Roland Emmerich directed it before Independence Day, before Stargate. I thought he did a good job. I thought he brought a level of sophistication in terms of the technical aspects of whether it be the giant truck, the action sequences, the way they were handled, whether the sequence where the prison bus versus the Universal Soldier truck, and Dolph throwing grenades, whether it be like in the hotel room where Van Damme has to keep crashing through walls. I think that was all set up. I thought it was edited well enough. I like the musical score. It has some decent violence with Dolph Lundgren where he kills some of the people. Like the guy where he forces him down, the needle goes out of his cheek. Or he just punches the guy, like cracks his skull, whatever. And he's like wiping. It's like, any questions? And of course the fight at the end. The fight at the end where they do a good job of trying to make it as epic as possible. It's in the rain, the composition of the shots. Like Van Damme, you got the fire behind him. You're dead, soldier. I'm alive. The use of slow motion. Thank God they changed the ending. Because if they used the original ending, where you find out that his parents were not really his parents, and it was all a trap to capture him, and then the reporters' pals come in and they film the story, and then Luke Devereaux like dies of old age, but he's hanging out with the reporter. I'm like, what kind of? It's just what this is not that kind of movie. Not that kind of movie. So instead, they made the fight longer. They gave a simpler, happier ending, which it fits with this. I didn't extend the fight where they go in the barn and say, "Good night, asshole. Good night, asshole." And the music, it's just a really cool fight. Like, this is what escapism is about. And I know people don't like it, but I like the Van Damme type of editing where you hit someone and be like, pa, pa, pa. Or you hit someone and you see it from a couple angles. I like that stuff. I like that style of editing. This is like a song with its own beats. It makes the fight a musical number. Not a number, but a musical, like a song. Its own rhythm. It gives the fight a rhythm. So it gives a bit more impact, a little bit exclamation point to that punch or that kick. Because there's so many movies we see with a kick or a punch, but to give a little bit of that exclamation, to make that moment a little bit stronger, a little bit more memorable. This is why people like on YouTube will go back and rewatch the fight in Lionheart or Kickboxer or Bloodsport or Yours a Soldier and go, this is how you do it. But then they don't want to do it. The shitty films like The Last Kumite could have used that type of editing. But they didn't, because the editor, he's a YouTuber, Oliver Harper. He's a YouTuber. He edited that film. He's like, I don't like that in Van Damme films. It showed because you edited really shitty fucking fights, and you did a shit job of it. You may be a good YouTuber. You're more likely a hell lot better YouTuber than me, but I think you're a shitty editor. I don't know why I'm getting mad at him. He hasn't done anything to me. Sorry, dude, if you somehow see this. He hasn't done anything to me, so I don't know why I'm getting pissed at him. If you don't like it, teach their own. We all have different opinions, but just like I didn't like his editing in The Last Kumite. Anyway, I'm not mad I'm just mad at the notion that, oh, this is bad. I'm like, well, we agree to disagree, and I know there's a lot of people that disagree with that notion, so teach their own. But Yours a Soldier just felt epic. It's still my favorite Roland Emmerich film. It's one of Van Damme and Dolph's best movies. And one of the last films of Terrico. Because it wasn't too long until Terrico went bye-bye. Because they didn't get Crusade and Isobar made and instead Cutthroat Island. So yeah, one of the last heydays of Terrico. And it did well. But I mean, what can you do? So I'll end it here. I'll do the other part next time and the 5 worst. But yeah, those are my top 5 favorite films of 1992. White Man Can't Jump, Rapid Fire, Hard Boiled, Split Second, and Universal Soldier is number 1. So yeah, I was going backwards with that. With that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.